What is going on, All-Terrain Nation? From all things two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or whatever you drive, this is your All-Terrain Nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd. What is going on, everybody? This was a cluster, boys, ladies, gentlemen. This one was a man. I've cutting it close on this one. Thought Danny would be here, and let me transition so you can see me. Once again, I always screw that up. Man, what a tight show to get into. So Danny had something last minute, and I had something set up, and then we had to do a punt here real quick. And thank you for your patience. What's up? What's up, Joe, Frank B, Jeff? Oh, look at this screen up here. Yeah, you can see me in just a second. Tacos for Tuesday. That's right, man. Tacos for Tuesday. We're gonna learn about some tacos today because I've got some Toyota stories. Believe it or not, there was a potential Toyota in my future at one point. This could have been some of the other shows could have been Toyota Nation or something like that. You never know, guys. But first, hopefully you guys are having an awesome Monday. It is a Monday, that's for damn sure. I know it's been for me. I don't know about you guys, but I'll be glad when this day's over. But first off, I have to say cheers with the Dr. Pepper tonight. I was running late and couldn't fix me a drink. Y'all feel sorry for me. What's up, Kelly? Let's see. Man, I'm just falling a piece over here tonight. But yes, Taco Mondays, as we will call it. And we're going to learn a little bit about the Tacoma tonight. But first, got news, man. We got all kinds of news. And sometimes there's good news and sometimes there's bad news. But I don't know. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big Nissan fan and have been for a while. But man, could Nissan not learn a lesson? So I don't know if you guys seen it. The Rogue, a commercial for the Rogue dropped today, and it's all over YouTube. And I've gotten media blast from Nissan about it. And it's the ending is very special. I'll just say that. And it's very Captain Marvel-like. And it's like Nissan couldn't learn their lesson. Overall, the ad, I like the ad a lot. I like that it's showing diversity in our culture and stuff. And whatever your opinions on it, I don't care. But for me, it was like it's where the country's going. So perfectly happy with that. Love seeing that. Glad it really wasn't just like some of these ads were like the last Sentra ad was just shoved in your face of like slap the dude around. But they couldn't help themselves. And the lady who is now vice president of their marketing, she's going full commit with Brie Larson. And I've got to say, WTF, guys, like the Sentra ad, if you go just do a quick Google search on this thing, it is like more trending of like Nissan went full crazy. Like it's just video after video after video of what was Nissan thinking. And they're doubling down with that. So that was kind of a need to turn on lights. Yeah, let me turn this one down a little bit. See if that helps a little bit. But WTF on that, and I'll probably have something on the other channel about it, but I won't go into it too much. But I don't understand auto manufacturing anymore, I guess, or running ads. They used to just make a car or truck look super cool. And now it's about where do you stand in the political world. And I don't want my car to be political. I don't want Republicans only drive this or Democrats only drive that or whatever your libertarian, whatever it is. I don't need my car to influence my freaking decision in the world. So that is where I'm at with that. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I did want to bring it up for a minute and just get y'all's opinion. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But let's see. We got a few in here. Maybe it'll get a little better in a minute, but let me check and make sure that everything is good with the stream so far. Like once again, usually I have Danny to distract you guys a little bit, and I can have Danny talking while I'm doing this. And these solo shows are always a little tricky. So let's see. Let's get in here. It's a Monday. It is a Monday. Bear with me, boys. drinks. Having complaints about Brie Larson. What else? What else we got going on here? Jeez. Anyways, this is par for the course today, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully, once again, hopefully you guys are having a way better day than me, because this is cluster of a day. Cluster of a day. Anyway, so let's get into Toyota talk. And Toyota talk was not brought to you by anybody, because Toyota, I'm looking at you guys. If you want to throw a little money this way, we'll talk about Toyota Tacomas all day long. I know. I wish Ramesh was in here. I know he's a big Toyota guy. He just bought a new one, and or a newer one, and he was all excited about it. So I know Ramesh would be excited by this chat. So anyways, sorry. All right, I'm done. I'm done messing with this stuff. So, like it or hate Toyota, they are the king of the mountain when it comes to mid-size pickup trucks. Now, full-size trucks, yeah, they ain't got there yet, but the whole mid-size trucks, how they ever came to just own this market, I no idea. I mean, the Toyota trucks you could see from the 80s, I mean, the Marty McFly-ish era, the 85s are starting to become cool, but it was either super lame two-wheel drive that was like goofy low, or the cool four-wheel drives. But at the time, Nissan kind of had that market for the kind of 720s and the hard bodies. Like, they were selling more than Toyota at the time. And Chevrolet and Ford were just doing their thing. Like, they didn't see much value in the mid-size market for a long time. They would build a mid-size truck, but they were always like, nah, that's kind of the import scene, and we're not about that. Well, you get all through the 2000s, and Nissan had the hard body that was doing well for them, and they were selling over 200,000. Believe it or not, Nissan was in the range that Toyota is now with the Tacoma. They were in the range with the hard body, and then they decided to switch to the Frontier name and kind of a softer design, and suddenly it shifted. Like, Toyota started to become more popular, and then you get through the kind of battle they had through the 90s or 2000s, where they both kind of, Toyota kind of took the softer approach with the last gen of the Tacoma, and I liked it a lot. And I have a story with that truck that I'll tell in a few minutes. But Nissan kind of went sharp edges like they did, and then Nissan decided not to update the truck for 25 years, it seems like. And Ford and Chevy always was in there, but they never, once again, they just didn't take it super seriously. And then Chevy brings out a weak-ass version of the Colorado with the little straight 5, and that truck had problems after problems. Ford didn't update the Ranger for 20 years, and till 2011, I believe that's when they canceled it, was 2011, and it just left Nissan and Toyota there. And Nissan was just kind of like not updating as they should. Toyota's just taking advantage of this. Their interiors are a lot nicer. They're kind of more luxurious than what Nissan was offering. Nissan was kind of, who knows? That's for a different show. But Toyota just started chipping away and owning it. And when there was only two people in the mid-sized market left, it was just Nissan or Toyota. Toyota just ran away with it. And then Toyota brings out this last generation that was just kind of night and day different. The only thing they did, they went to the smaller V6 for fuel economy, which we'll get into that. Other than that, like, the design of it was just Toyota, where other brands tend to want to copy Toyota in these things. Toyota's always been true to Toyota. We're going to do what Toyota does. You look at the Tundra, it's very Toyota, especially the latest ones. Like, they've slight refreshes, but you get in one of those, you exactly know what the Tundra feels like a larger version of the Tacoma in my view. Like, the layout, the way the buttons look and stuff, where Nissan with their Titan versus Frontier, just way too different. In a lot of cases, that's the way it is with the new Colorado and the Silverados. They just feel like two complete different worlds, where Toyota's always like, this is our approach and this is what we're going to stick with. But whether you're just like a guy who wants just a daily commuter, or you're the person, you're kind of getting into overlanding and was really passionate about, well, I see all these guys doing these things. And then Toyota, smartly, wisely, however word you want to use, desert tan. They feed on the military-ish vibe a little bit that goes with overlanding. They bring out that desert tan, and that goes nuts for people. And now they got army greens, and like they play with colors a lot too, where other brands kind of just don't. And which is unusual because usually Japanese manufacturers are very conservative, and especially Toyota more than most are super conservative, and maybe that's why they own the mid-size CVs or SUVs, whatever you want to call them. Like they seem to own that with the Rav4 and stuff. Like they don't, when they make a change, they make a complete change, but they don't. They constantly make the current generation better. So I think with Tacoma, I think that's been a big part of its success. Is you knew what you got with it. Um, the interior of these things are still straight out of 2016, like, but little changes, color changes, TRD. We're gonna bring a TRD and then a TRD Pro and then this TRD, and they just keep, you know, value. Of course, Toyota has, are known for quality and resale value. And this truck, I think this truck probably has some of the best for a pickup truck, some of the best resale value of all trucks. I mean, all trucks, excluding Gladiator. And we'll do another show on Gladiator because that's been kind of a flop for Jeep, but we'll get into that later. This truck just completely dominates the market. This would be the 85 Bears, if you know this. They're all about defense, and which is what Toyota's big on, man. This is our market. We're going to defend it. Come to our house, bring it, because you're not going to go home. You're going to have bruises and cuts. So, anyways, I'm very excited by this truck, and let me get into a little bit of my my Toyota history. So, first off, let me see if we got anybody new in here. There's old Daniel, young Daniel there. Danny, I really could use you on this one, but that's all right. Danny had some family stuff he needed to take care of, and we all have to do that from time to time. Let me see if I can not spill my Dr. Pepper all over the place again. Because you want ants, that's how you get ants. Anyways, DeGrudex, I'm reporting you. Oh, man. So, 2000, let's see. I bought my first Frontier, let's see, was 2007. I bought an '06. I bought it, it was roughly 6 months old when I bought my first Frontier. And I wasn't looking at Nissan. Now, I've always been a Nissan fan. I grew up with Nissan fan. But at the time, the Tacoma, like the last generation Tacoma, I think is a great looking truck, man. It's futuristic. Like the lights on the things were just strange enough that everybody else was doing, more kind of square boxy headlights. And they come out with like that weird unique design. You could just feel the quality of the vehicle, and so I went down to my Toyota dealership. Me and Kelly, we'd just been married, and we decided we were gonna buy a boat and stuff, and we needed a little truck to pull it, and so Toyota was on my top list, and I looked at a white 4-wheel drive. I forget which trim it was. I don't think it was an SR5. And I was going to order one. They didn't. I was particular. I wanted a white truck. If you guys have heard me on pickup trucks, I love white pickup trucks. It's probably because I use company vehicles that are always white, but they don't show dirt. The paint on that white Tacoma was great. You get inside, like everything about that. And me being a Nissan fanboy, I think that interior blew Nissans away. I think it was just night and day different. Even though I like the Frontier, and I've owned two of them, I think the Toyota was just great. And price-wise, there wasn't much difference in price. But when it came down to it, a used one, like I said, about a 6-month-old Frontier fell in my lap. Now it was only 2-wheel drive, and I kicked myself for that one. But I went Frontier, and I broke a dealer's heart. I did. He called me up, and I had to tell him the news that I'm sorry, man. I went Nissan, and obviously, how a lot of you guys know me is through the Nissan world. So I think it worked out in the end that we have this show now. I get to talk about my love of Toyotas, but Toyota in the mid 2000s, man, they were set, and I think it's really what led them to today of just the owning of the midsize category. But let's get into some talk there. So, what you see to my left is the 2021. What do they call this edition? Let me get it in here because I'm gonna screw it up, and I don't want to screw it up for you guys. The Go Dark Nightshade Special Edition. And I covered the Chicago Auto Show this past year, the only auto show there was. And I was at the press release and the launch of these things and the whole cool Toyota. Toyota had one of the better, Toyota and Fiat, Chrysler, whatever you want to call them, FCA, they by far had the two best booths at the Chicago Auto Show. And so I did the press release on this truck, and they did obviously the grays and stuff. And here I'll throw it up on screen so you guys can play along at home. Here we'll do this. So I went to the press release of this, and I had a bunch of video, and I just couldn't load it up in time. But it was fun. Once again, Toyota. I forget the guy that was the outgoing guy that did it. He was like his final launch of a vehicle, and they talked about all the improvements and stuff, but the trucks, other than a color change for 2021, they really haven't gotten anything. I mean, you look at the Tacoma starting to look old, but then you look at the Tundra there and the 4Runner, and you're like, man, and other brands get crapped on for their not changing up. And you know what, we're on, I think it was 16, I believe, is when the Tacoma's out. So it's definitely model refreshes coming up, but they had a super nice booth, and so I went through it a little bit. And I got a little bit of video from my coverage at the show. Let me see if I can bring this up for us, and go back here, and bear with me. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. It's awkward that I'm in a Nissan shirt here, but we were planning this channel for a while. All right, let me pause it right there. This was funny. They were doing once again, their booth was one of the best booths at the show. And they did these quick wraps on these things, and this was for a service deal. But when they wrap this thing, guess what? They want to resell this, and a lot of these cars are purchased by dealerships. So when an auto manufacturer comes into a town, they don't want to carry a bunch of vehicles with them. So they tell these dealers, hey, if you'll buy these vehicles, we'll give you an extra 5% or something on the cars. So then they had it wrapped, but the dealership obviously didn't want to take anything off of it, debadge it, because you can see under the wrap, you can see the TRD, the TRD right here, which just strikes me funny. And every time I see this, there's Kelly. Oh yeah, there's the gray color. I can't see it very well, but
Still cool though. Can't crap on that because their grays like in Nissan. We've got
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Anyways, I've been a fan of this vehicle. Now they've done a lot of cool crawl control and stuff with this vehicle, and let's see, what's Danny saying there? Oh, if Danny gets a chance to sneak away, he will. Man, sound like Danny's cheating on us here, guys. Thanks, Dan. But let's see, transition. There we go. But their booth was pretty nice. Now let's get into this press release for this, because it's kind of interesting. And this was from the Chicago Auto Show. You can see February 6th of 2020. Let me scroll down here. Once again, this is a Highlander, but Toyota's interiors are some of the best by far. They really do a great job on their high-end interiors. Now, some of their plain Jane interiors, they go a little too plain for me, but talks about here. So it talks about the nightshade, which we're going to get into pricing of these Toyotas too. The nightshade, all the nightshades were very well done. I loved how they blacked out everything, which was somewhat of an influence from Nissan. Nissan was doing that the midnight edition stuff, and Toyota took notice and was like, "Hey, you sell trucks, but we sell a lot of trucks, so Let me sell you some trucks here the right way, Nissan. We'll show you how to roll this out. But let's see. All right. So this is from Car and Driver, and it was a nice breakdown that I found on this thing. So what's new for 2021? Toyota will offer a limited run Trail Edition model, but there's only going to be 7,000 copies of that thing. It's based on the SR5, which is their kind of lower trim, but you get some cool things, some this lockable stuff. It's a lot like the Titan boxes if you know what those are in the back. The 120 volt outlet. But let's look at the pricing, because this is where I think they do a really good job. Where a lot of manufacturers like Ranger and stuff, what you get for when you get into these prices, Ranger and these don't come close. And yeah, the Ranger's got that peppy little turbo 4, but you're getting a V6 here. Like you can't compete with V6 versus 4. I'm a displacement guy, man. Anytime I can get the larger displacement, that's where I want to be. I don't. Maybe I should be a little more MPG conscious, but I like displacement. But the Nightshade right now is at 41,000. The TRD Pro is at 45. Obviously, you're getting a lot more for your money. But the Nightshade to me is a lot like the Limited. You're just basically paying $1,000 extra for a few pluses. But the SR5 is always been there. I think in Toyotas, I feel like it's always been probably one of the best bargains out there for what they do. If you always look at their packages, I've had an SR5 Sequoia, which was a great vehicle. I've never wanted to get into the Limited stuff. I'm not a hoity-toity guy. I don't need a lot of extras, as it were. And where are you guys at with trim wise with Toyotas? Obviously, we know Cordetti Motorsports. I forget which you had. Was it a TRD Pro, Jeff, that you had? But you had that cool Smurf blue that totally jealous about. I think it's a color that I would get bored with real quick, but I definitely respect the purchase and definitely like that. Let's see. I've got another. Let me transition on this. Let's get into. Let me find my stuff while we're talking. Where we go. All right. So now we're in Toyota's thing, which is right now, guys. They're wanting to sell vehicles, and you can look at this. Look at this leasing. Now you got to put $3,000 down, $139 for 39 months. Now that's a long lease. That's a really long lease, but man, you could be in a sweet little SR for little to no money. Now the insurance always goes up on leases. Let's see. Jeff says, "Oh, you still have it? I thought you sold that, Jeff. 6-speed manual to boot." Yeah, manuals are what really Tacoma is. It Tacoma's the only midsize manual you can get anymore. Nissan ditched it with when they put the new motor in this old generation truck. But look at this. You can get 3.9 on a 2020, which obviously COVID's influenced some of this, but for 72 months. Trips. One of these days, we're all going to see 10 years on a car. It's going to be nuts that you're going to see. I remember when I was a kid, if you went 5 years, like it was ridiculous to go 5 years. Like it was a 3-year or a 5-year, and the 5 years seemed like for maybe your credit wasn't as good, but these 72 months, and I'm telling you, man, it's going to be like buying a camper where they'll do 20-year loans on these things. But let me pull into the Tacoma here a little bit. I don't know their website very well, so I did select the Tacoma that I want to talk about. Usually, I wanted to build one here. There was a good meme going around the other day. It was talking about what was it? It was talking about what Honda Days or something, and then there's the Toyotathon, and somebody was like something about I'm from a Toyotathon family. Don't bring your Honda Days crap into this. Or there's some weird meme going around. Let's see. Still have to test out the snorkel, Jeff. You need to get on that, man. Oh, okay. So Jeff, you're using it for your work. Yeah, Jeff, I swear to God, I thought you already sold that thing. Let's get in here because I want to find. There we go. Mo better. Mo better. Now let's get into their colors a little bit. Now this white was the white for me, man. I wanted that last generation I thought was a great looking truck, and look at the palette that they have. They actually offer some really good colors. Now there's your voodoo blue, Jeff, that you were talking about. But let's see, wind chill pearl, super white, silver. I am not a silver fan on generally any vehicle. This gray metallic, magnet gray metallic is a really nice color. The cement, this I love this color, and I'm glad to see Nissan with the Navara was using that color for the Navara now, and I'm sure it's going to trickle into the Titan and some of the other trucks. Once again, Toyota will take a chance with color. There's the midnight black pearl. This red in this Barcelona red metallic seems to be the most popular color in my area. I see a lot of Tacomas around. If I see Tacomas, they seem to be in this color. I'm curious what color do you guys in your area see these things at, because it's this by overwhelming is the color that I see them in. Let's see. That new Lunar Rock. Yeah, that is a great color too, and it reminds me a lot of the cactus gray on the Broncos. And Toyota's really stepped up their badging too. The TRD Pro on the door there, freaking nice. I seen this green in person. It's really nice, but I'm not much of a green color on those. Just doesn't do much for me. Once again, I find a lot of value in the SR, but I could be swayed into a TRD Sport. I know. I think I probably do see more TRD Sports than anything. Anything in the. I wouldn't even. I feel bad. I thought I was sitting there showing you. I'm using new software here, so it's screwing me up. Let's go back to here. Yeah, there. So we'll go back in the colors a little bit. So there's the Voodoo Blue, Jeff, and this is that Lunar Rock. Like I said, it was a lot like the Cactus Gray that Ford's using in their Broncos. You're right. That is a great color, and I don't know if they're, because I know it's a fairly new color. I don't know if I've seen any out and about. Toyotas are popular here, but since we're kind of a Nissan town, see more Nissans. All right, so let's get into the bad boy, TRD Pro. If you're gonna go all the way. Let's see. Preview the features. For $44,000, this truck better be kick-ass. And the only thing that I do not like that Toyota does on this version is the tire choice. I understand why you don't want to put a heavy all-terrain or a mud terrain on it. Is because it's already in the 17 to 21 category, which is not great anymore. Especially with the little Turbo 4 that the Ranger's offering. But the wheels on this thing are great. But the tires, this is to me like a lot like Nissan and a few other brands have problems with. They kind of go almost there. Like hey, it's almost going to be completely cool. And I don't know if Toyota figures that a lot of the guys that will buy this vehicle or women, they're going to go probably put tires on it anyways. They're probably going to want to go do their own thing, which a lot of people do now. I'm always amazed that people drop an extra $1,000 after they get out of the dealership to go put tires on something. Ford, I'm looking at you with that new Wrangler because I may have to do that. But a lot of you're getting all the blind spot monitoring, a nice sound system, which generally their sound systems are really nice. Now you're getting the Fox shocks and really for the price though, I think you could almost step down and build this one a little cheaper. Let's see. Yes, I agree with Jeff. I don't know if it comes down to a cost thing. Tires in the scheme of thing for a manufacturer aren't too bad. It's not something there's deals they have to make with that stuff, but yeah, that would have looked perfect with a KO2 on it, and I think it would sell better. I think like people would, you get the people that would buy this that have no clue about off-roading, or they just want to look tough. And a lot of people don't. I think that's why Ford and some of these manufacturers, are taking a page out of Jeep's playbook, and they're just, hey, we can we'll just give them everything they can buy it from the dealership. And I don't know if maybe Toyota in the end needs to get into that market a little bit more and start offering some cool upgrades past what this offers. But I this truck is actually due for a refresh. I want to say it's 2022, next build year that it's getting a refresh, and unfortunately, they've decided to start building these all in Mexico. I believe they have 2 plants that are going to operate building these things. They can't keep up in Texas. Texas was at capacity just building this truck, and they want to build the Tundra. They want to build more Tundras, and supposedly, I believe it was my buddy Tim Pitt with Pickup Truck and SUV Talk says that they could actually sell more Tundras if they had the space to build them, which I don't buy that one, but he knows Toyota way better than I do. But they're going to be a Mexican-made truck, and there's more profit when you build them down in Mexico and bring them up here. The quality, I've used to be, you would always worry about a Mexican-built vehicle, something like that, and the quality is on par, if not better, in a lot of cases with a lot of the plants there versus here now. So the quality of this vehicle, you can expect it to stay where it's at, if not better. But I'm super pumped. Jeff, since you're my Toyota guy, do you think that this thing, are they going to go? They've got to have more power, right? Jeff, I've heard a lot of, yours is made in Texas. I know they're building some in Mexico, but they're all, the next model is going all Mexican made. How are you, Jeff, with the power of this? Because that is the one complaint that people say about this and the seating position. And it seems like seating position is really taken off. Like it's kind of getting trendy now to kind of bash bash Toyota just a little bit. But the last one I got in, it reminded me of an 80s, 90s import truck. The seating positions are just, I don't know if it's a cultural thing. Why? Maybe us bigger Americans or North Americans are just, I don't know. Something about the seating position, I did definitely notice. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like Toyota. I remember, I forget what they called in the 80s, what they were calling the little pickup truck. But I remember just feeling like your legs were just flat out to reach the pedals. And the seat was super slammed down. And let's see what Jeff's saying here. The motor is weak. Yes, it's not suited for that truck. The 6-speed is okay, but not great. That even with the launch of this vehicle, I remember a lot of journalists just having a time with that motor. Now Toyota gets a pass, and believe they get a pass because these are the presser events you want to go to. They treat the press very, very well, so they're going to get a little bit of a pass. But I've not been impressed with that engine. I don't think it's by far the weakest thing. But Jeff, if you were ever to do some time in the little 4-liter that Nissan has, I feel even though it may be on paper rated just a little bit less horsepower, I don't know, something about it feels a little more torquey. This one here, this engine feels like the car they pulled it out of. It's not tuned to be in that truck or something. I'm curious what you think about that. Seats are good. Yes, and that you're definitely on something there, Jeff, with why the seating position is a little bit the way it is because Toyota, when they build a 4-wheel drive, they're trying to get the body off the ground a little bit, where a lot of manufacturers now, due to MPGs, trying to keep them as low as possible. Toyota still will do that kind of older school, let's bring it up, but now they got to start pushing the body down, trying to make up that difference, and when you do that, ride quality kind of goes away a little bit. Well, High Plains, there's talk that the next Hilux and Tacoma are going to be almost the same vehicle. And if that's true, I know framing and everything there was talk that basically the next frame, I think they're sticking with this frame, by the way. I think that it's just going to be across the board. Everything gets this framing so that, like, us Nissan people love that because that V8 will damn near drop right in the frame of the Frontier. I'm curious about that. If there's any crossover between the Tundra and Tacoma, probably not because they're generations apart. But I would be curious about that. Let's get in. Let me find some other stuff here. Let me get back to the colors because now Jeff. So when you got your TRD Pro, I'm assuming did you find it on your lot that way, or was it did you spec it that way? Let's get over here to the web. All right, let's see. Yeah, I read that in your stream when I was doing a stream the other night where you were talking about the drum brakes, how they were saying that the Australians like the drum brakes better. I don't I can't disagree. I've never been to Australia, but I know for me disc brakes is where it's at. I really like disc brakes, and Toyota. That's another nick that here recently Toyota started kind of getting crapped on a little bit. Was like some of the old school disc or drum brakes and stuff in these things. Stuff that you can tell the truck's starting to get old, that journalists need something to talk about whenever they drive the new truck. Now this, I do like their integration of the new lights they put in this, but we'll get into that just a little bit. So let's see. There we go. A little larger image. The lights are very aggressive. I like this design. I think the nose of this truck sticks out a little too far. Why that is, I'm sure it's a design choice. But you definitely, Nissan's taken notice of the longer hood and the bulge. Definitely right in here, if you look at that potential new Frontier, they've definitely, they like that area right there. But you said it was on the lot? Let's see. Last one on the lot. Let's look inside this little thing just a minute. I like the layout of this. I love how they everything is matching. How they like the headlights and everything. It all just sort of blends together. And once again, this is where I say Toyota has their own design, and they stick with their own thing. They didn't copy anybody here by far, because if they did, I'd hope they'd fix that steering wheel, because I love Toyota, but that's one of the ugliest steering wheels I've ever seen. We've got a couple Tundras at my office that, yeah, I didn't like that steering wheel, the layout at all. Feels like that thing should have been in the last generation truck. The only thing they didn't kind of bring with us a little bit to the future. But overall, the layout of this thing, the old school tack and everything, I can't believe they haven't at least went LCD or whatever in this thing to kind of just. Those are simple things that you definitely can cheaply make the truck look more competitive versus some of it. The backing light of the thermostat there, like, I don't know, something about that looks very old school. And some of this, I remember the FJ towards the end of its production was getting a little bit of this same flack that they just needed to update it a little bit. But the infotainment center in this thing, Toyota does a really good job with that, even though I think this is upgraded since when they first brought this one out, but it's pretty quick, pretty responsive. I think the next generation of this trucks, obviously everybody that has a phone, there's no reason why these radios in these trucks cannot operate as fast. When you want to, zoom into something, or when you tap a button, it takes 10 seconds to hit it. There's no reason anymore in any of these vehicles that they should screw around with it. But obviously the Tacoma in the back, I don't know who did this first. Was it Ford or was it Toyota that did the stamping in the rear and the back tailgate? Everybody's kind of copied that now. The next Frontier is going to have that. The thing I've noticed when I was thinking about these trucks recently, because I wanted to talk about them, the thing that the badges here, like the 4-wheel drive, they always, with this bulge for the tailgate, those badges always seem out of place to me. And this is just me being kind of nitpicky, but yes, FJs are actually going up in value. It's nuts. They bottomed, and now they're kind of starting to go back up a little bit. Toyota's always been smart with their bumper placements. How they tuck these bumpers in because they know these trucks are built to go off-road, and they wisely tuck all this stuff in, and everybody else would let their bumper kind of hang, and I've ripped one off of a Frontier. I've seen drag marks on other brands, and Toyota wisely, let's tuck that up here. We'll give you a bumper, and down here where the hitch is, we'll drop it down. We'll make it we're going to make it you take the hit, but they've always done a very good job of that. Once again, the TRD Pro badging, and I'm just going to stick with Pro for the rest of the night because I think it's the coolest option they have. The stitching in the seats and stuff, these seats the bolstering in them is real nice, especially off-roading. I've ridden these where you don't feel like you're going to slide out of the seat. The red accents on the shifter. I'm not a manual truck in a truck. I just don't want a manual transmission in a truck. But for those that do, more power to you. It looks great in here, though. Let's see. We got any more pictures in here? Sorry, guys. I know this show seems scattered tonight, but this was kind of a last-minute Hail Mary here. Let's see. But there we go. That is your Toyota Tacoma. I'm very excited to see, and I think we're going to see some hints soon of what the next generation is going to look like. Always, I say this on the Nissan show, but Japanese manufacturers, that you do not see these things sneaking around till they are ready to get it out. We've got a Frontier floating around, camouflage, but it's floating around because Nissan's ready to drop that. You'll see, I think within the next spring, you're going to see some of these newer trucks floating around. Obviously, they'll be all badged up, and they'll be testing them in Colorado, high altitude, out in the desert. They'll, doing their stress testing and everything. I'm hoping that they take a page out of Chevy and Ford's playbook and go right to the Rubicon with a couple of these. With Colorado, when they were doing the ZR2 package, they took those trucks to the Rubicon, and they come out with some dents in them, but they wanted to prove that truck was off-road ready, and I think that's Toyota's always done a great off-road package, and I think they need to come out of the box with the next truck taking on, Bronco kind of, taking on Wrangler kind of, because it's an off-road market. The off-road market's this big globe, but obviously Wrangler right now has the biggest chunk of that. And I would say probably these TRDs are probably the second, probably most popular for strictly off-road vehicles. And I think if they come out with the next gen, take it to Moab like they've done with Bronco. Go show the American buyer that, hey, yeah, American Big Three guy. Oh, you do that? That's cute, because I'm about to just do everything you do and do it a lot better. Let's see. Black and blue metal flake, best paint I've seen on the TRD. The back of the seats are awesome for storage. Jeff, that's something I've never messed with on one of these, and I've played with a few of these, and I've never pulled that seat up to see what it was like. High Plains, I don't know that Toyota is worried about the next Frontier, even though, the Frontier is going to come out, and then a year later, basically, the Tacoma's, because I think when the next Frontier come out, there'll be a wave of buyers for that thing. They'll sell 10,000 a month, something like that, but this truck is 200,000 plus a year, man. Nissan hasn't sold 200,000, like I was saying earlier. They haven't sold 200,000 of their midsize or pup trucks since the mid-'90s. So for Toyota to sweat it out, I don't know. I don't think Toyota worried about when GM got back in with the Colorado or the Ranger, which I like the way the Ranger looks. I think the Ranger in this almost look identical. I think, and which Ranger came out in 14 in Australia. I think the grills that they have are very, very similar. But I'd still rather have the Toyota. I think Ford needs to drop a V6 in that Ranger for it to be really, really popular. which maybe that might be next week's show as we talk a little bit of Ranger. What's up, Ethan? I am. Overall, guys, I think the Toyota is still probably the best midsize pickup truck out there, and I'd be curious to y'all's take on it. I think it's expensive, yes, and I think if you're looking for a truck that with resale value, if you're a kind of person that maybe trades their vehicle every 2 to 3 years, it's probably one of the best for resale value. Um, I think there's definitely it is true the Toyota tax, but I think in many cases it's worth it. Now, this truck has not been flawless. It's had problems, but overall, it's an amazing truck that somehow still looks fairly fresh in a world full of mid-sized competitors. Let's see. Yes, I agree, Jeff. The EcoBoost is not a powertrain. Turbos, and Jeff, I know you've messed with turbo engines. Turbos are great, and they can put out a ton of torque, and those numbers can look really good on paper. But generally, what the peak torque on a lot of these engines, you start getting into 6,000 RPMs, especially off road where I need torque. I'm not in the 6,000 RPMs a lot. Maybe if I'm towing up a hill, I'm going to get into those RPMs. But overall, for an off-road vehicle, I'm not. I need crawling power. I need low end torque, not the high end. Let's see, weak paint, weak motor, drum brakes. What I find Toyota called it. Are they, Jeff? I've not heard anything about the paint. Oh wait. Oh. That would be. I think all manufacturing though, Jeff, is having issues with paint. They stress so much to make all these vehicles so light that if you can, it all adds up, man. Pennies add up to dollars, and they've all went lighter on their paints. The clear coats aren't what they used to be, and it's pretty well documented on my Nissan Titan that the damn thing after 3 years looked like I took a shotgun to the front of it. Yes, chips. That's what it is, man. It's just little rocks that on old school vehicles would have bounced off and not hurt your vehicle. Now they're just messing vehicles up. But anyways, guys, that is our Toyota show. I wish Danny was here because I know Danny's actually had some time recently in one of these, and especially Danny. I'm a shorter guy. I'm 5'8". Danny's 6'1", something like that. For us to document these vehicles together, a lot of time it's a wide range of America from me being a shorter guy to Danny being a taller guy. When we get in these vehicles, our A and B comparisons are nice, and we did that a little bit with the Titan, the last Titan presser we went to. Just by looking at it. Oh man. So guys, thank you all for sticking around on this one. I know this one was a tough one, and it shouldn't have been, but this has just been a Monday. But anyways, I've got some cool videos coming up. We're gonna do some time in a Wrangler. I'm gonna do my impressions of a Wrangler coming up. I've got a Ford Raptor video that I'm gonna be working on pretty soon that you're not gonna want to miss out on, and it's gonna be fun times, guys. If you have not yet, please like and subscribe to the show. We're on our goal to hit that 1,000 sub mark by January. And as of right now, we're falling just a little bit behind, but with your help, we can make a difference and help get this channel funded. So that's it, guys. That is our show. Dave is worn out and tired, but I had to jump in. Had to do it for the guys, man. I love you guys, and I thank you all so much for all the support you've done. So, whether you drive a 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or I don't care how many drives you have, this is your All Terrain Nation, and I'm your host.